Welcome to Talking Giants presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Penik, and we got ourselves a Commanders preview. Who are we? You know that song gets stuck in my head quite often. The Who are we? The Commanders.
Left hand up.
Left hand. It's so stupid. How are you?
I'm good, man. Clearly, we're at the kooky part of the season where, hey, I'm looking for a few things. I'm looking for Dexter Lawrence to dominate, and hey, let's quietly, since we're a losing team, let's quietly start the Dexter Lawrence for Defensive Player of the Year campaign, even though it won't happen because we suck. Let's see some rookies do well. Hey, man, let's be in it. Let's be in this last 7 games together and look for some stuff, and let's all lose together.
I want to talk about like the talent like level of both of these teams. Before Justin, this episode was brought to us by Hardcore Rick. And you know how hardcore Rick is, that he signed up for Patreon in the middle of a week that coming off of a 49-17 loss when Tommy DeVito is the starter going up against Commanders. That's how hardcore Rick is. Justin, who is hardcore Rick?
Hardcore Rick went to patreon.com/talkofgiants. You know the drill. Bobby Skinner and I, we will live stream the shows as they happen. You get to hear them early before everybody else does. Bobby Skinner will also send you some stickers in the mail, and there's some shirt raffles. Patreon.com/talkofgiants. Thanks for our patrons.
You mentioned Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
Did you see the Doug Analytics tweet? It's like, and I'll just read it verbatim. Since Leonard Williams has been traded, Dexter Lawrence's year-to-date double team percentage has increased from 67% to 71% when rushing the pass, which like, oh, that's not a huge jump. But so it's 67% before. He's been double teamed on 87% of snaps in these last 2 games without Leonard Williams. It really showed versus Dallas, where they're like, we don't give a damn about anybody else rushing the passer on this team.
Dude, he still won. I mean, I said, all right, I was going to do this yesterday after the mailbag. I kind of spent the morning kind of going through Dexter Lawrence's game, and I had to cut out some clips because they weren't super like ultra impressive to include on like a 60s, but I still had a 60-second highlight reel of Dexter Lawrence getting double teamed and triple teamed and still winning in the run and against the pass. Like he's insane, man. And I wholeheartedly believe that if the Giants are even a 500 club ball team right now, I think he's already getting like some like PFF people being like whispers, Dexter Lawrence should be like up there for Defensive Player of the Year, but wholeheartedly, he's getting more recognition of that if the Giants are somewhat of a good team.
Yeah. He's like, that was what was so great about last year, is that it was a type of domination where it's like, oh, this isn't just like a 1 year like outlier season, right? Like even like with Leonard Williams, we always knew Leonard Williams was a good player, but we knew like we're not going to get this level of play every year as 2020. We're going to get good play, really good play. And some of the narratives around it were really wrong, where it's like, oh, he just benefits from, remember people like, oh, he benefits from Dalvin and Dex being on the team. It's like, yeah, well, 9.5 of his 11 sacks, those guys weren't even on the field for. So are you sure about that?
But there's no looking like there, you kind of, even for like Dalvin Tomlinson, his dominance and his good play, his last 2 years or his last year here, you kind of had to be like, oh, the all 22 guy to really kind of find it. With Leonard Williams, you had to be the all 22 guy to be like, look at what Leonard Williams does here and how it impacts this guy here. You don't have to search for Dexter Lawrence being the impact player. It's like everybody just understands that. And also what he's doing from the nose tackle spot is just unreal. And the good thing is that most of his production over the last couple of years and even last year, a lot of his production came from both Washington games. We know how he dominated, I think, the first one. Let's see it again. Like, hey, let's see if we could squeak out this narrative one more week, at least in Giants land, of Dexter Lawrence deserves more Defensive Player of the Year nominee attention because he's playing a Washington team. Let's put up a big numbers game.
Well, let's talk about the Commanders. They traded away Chase Young and Montez Sweat, right? And we went into that last game being like, this defense is bad, but they do have a good pass rush unit. And you look at the sacks in that game, they were kind of bogus sacks, like a backside defensive end not blocking it on play action, RPO where Shep fell, the Bellinger block and release, and then Pugh got beat by Chase Young. And you lose Chase Young. Deron Payne got bitched out by Mark Gowinski. He looked uninterested, honestly. Jonathan Allen was pissed, and Allen again is still one of my favorite defensive tackles in the NFL. But they lost like that. Okay, well at least we got a four guys that can get after it at any moment. This is like a really untalented defense, but it's an offense that is talented but has offensive line issues. And Howell hasn't taken as many sacks, but he's actually like leading the NFL in yards. So he's just kind of got this gunslinger mentality. But versus the Giants defense that's going to come after him, it's not his best, right? He's best at like the teams that rush forward and sit in zone, and he's just ready to fire shit in there.
All right, where do you want to start off first? Because
which team do you think is more talented right now with the players they have playing?
The players that they have,
Because we'll probably have no Kayvon. Probably don't have Hyatt, who had two big catches in that game.
Thomas was he on the injury report this week? But he's probably going to play.
Thomas is playing. He wasn't playing the last game. You had Justin Pugh and Tyree Phillips starting at left and right. You had McKeithen starting, who's went viral this week.
I do think the Commanders are more talented.
I think the QB is what puts it over. It's what puts it over the edge, right? Because they have a significant QB advantage. If Tyrod Taylor's playing, I'm saying the Giants have the talent advantage overall. Like they just basically have their wide receivers.
Listen, I know this doesn't matter, like good football player or not, but Sam Howell's the number 3 fantasy quarterback right now.
Yeah, I think he's first in yards, right? He throws like if I'm talking not as like a giant, like he's doing enough to like kind of give him patience and let him grow through some of the struggles that he's had. Like there's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of negative with he takes sacks at a historic rate, right? But he comes in there with a little bit of a gunslinger mentality too, even though he doesn't have like the best accuracy or arm talent in the world. Like he's got plenty enough.
You asked me that question about who's more talented, and I had like a PTSD moment back to 2021 because I'm pretty sure we would have the same conversation back at, like with the starting quarterback being out and quarterback being so bad. I'm 90% certain you have asked me the question, which team is more talented, like this bad team the Giants are playing or the Giants themselves when they're really under exceeding expectations. I had like a PTSD moment.
And they have a good wide receiver core, obviously. Like Terry McLaurin is a beast. Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson, even though they're not having like amazing statistical years, are good players. And Sam Howell, the last 3 games, has only taken 7 sacks, which for most other quarterbacks, that's still a good amount. But he was averaging almost 7 sacks per game. But I do expect the Giants to dominate up. We'll see. I don't even know if I expect them to dominate up front because you don't have Leo. And Kayvon is probably not going to play. So you kind of have Aziz and Dex, and I expect both those guys to have great games, but you don't have a 4. But obviously Wink is going to keep blitzing at them.
You expect you said Aziz to have a great game. Do you expect Aziz to have a great game?
Yeah, I don't like their offensive line. I think this is a game where Aziz does have a great game.
What's Aziz been doing?
He's been out. He's been injured, and he got used in only a pass rush specialist role last week.
Yeah. If
he plays, if he's only being brought in a handful of reps, then no, I'm not. But if last week is the ramp up and this week he's just a full-time starter, I expect him to play well.
You think that's a bad look with how the Giants have been? I think the Giants have been pretty liberal with how they treat players who are injured in terms of if you're active, you're going to play. Like they did it with Saquon, and hey, they're doing it with Andrew Thomas right now. Even though he got hurt last week, they put him right back in the game. I'm kind of like, it's like a really major red flag if Azeez Ojulari, again, despite being active, despite being healthy, and how the Giants have treated some of their other injured players this year, it's kind of like a really more of a red flag than anything if Azeez is continuing to play like this rotational role, getting 17 snaps as a pass rush specialist when Jihad Ward and Boogie Basham really don't offer anything at all.
Well, they offer better run defense than him. That's the difference between Saquon and Andrew Thomas. Those guys can be better than Azeez on certain downs. And Azeez is the most injury prone player on the team.
Yeah.
Like, is there any player on the team that's more injury prone than Azeez Ojulari?
Oh, not right now. No.
So, like Boogie and Jahad Ward are better run defense. Even though I would rather have Aziz out there,
Yeah,
obviously,
that's
on
what,
those early downs because Aziz can make plays. Jahad Ward and Boogie Basham are not going to make plays, even
not
though they set
always
a
gonna
better edge.
you're not always gonna run on first down and second down. You're gonna throw too. So I'd rather see Aziz out there. And who this is a contract underrated talking point. We talked about a contract year for Xavier McKinney. It's contract year for Aziz Ojulari too. And
No, it's not.
it's not. I thought they were the same draft class. No, they're not.
No, second round. He's the year after.
Edit that out, Jeff.
Um, edit it in. Edit all this in, Jeff. Um, yeah. So I do lean the Commanders having more talent, right? Especially when you bring in the fact that Kayvon won't play. Jalen Hyatt probably won't play.
All out. Yeah.
Yeah, Darren Waller's not in this game. Where you remember leaving the Commanders game, Darren Waller was the number 2 tight end in the NFL for receiving yards. And then he's obviously missed the last 3 games if you include missing the Jets game. This will be his 3rd fully missed game and 4th. Did you see the Craig Carton tweet about Darren Waller's charity event?
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, I saw it.
Basically saying none of the Giants players showed up to it.
Yeah, it seemed like a good event. Good for Darren Waller for hosting it. Look good. A good little suit on.
Do you take any stock into like the no players showing up or no?
I don't know, man. Like I want to say yes, but without knowing context and stuff, I don't know. I really don't know. Like I just hope things don't get worse from what they are. If they're already bad, I hope they don't get worse. And if they're not that bad, if the locker room isn't that bad and not that fractured right now, I just hope it doesn't get worse from what it is right now. That's my hope.
Yeah, I hope that the guys that were supposed to be there didn't show up had like actual reasons to not be there. I also want to talk about, Justin, the reason why we're seeing all these like Giants aren't dead set on taking a quarterback in the draft stuff. Do you have anything else on this game? Because I don't feel like we need this. Everyone knows what the Commanders are at this point. We've played them, we've previewed them, we've recapped them. This is what I'll say, lasting on the like just this game before we bring on Danny. If Tommy DeVito can't look halfway decent versus this defense, he won't look halfway decent versus any defense in the NFL, right? Like they give you favorable looks pre-snap, and they lost their 2 edge rushers. They have again, they're good on the interior, even though Payne sucked in the last game doesn't mean he's going to suck in this game. But this is a game if DeVito can't look serviceable in this game, he will never look serviceable. Which again, I'm not expecting him to really. So it'll be the decider of, is DeVito even worthy of battling for a backup QB job? Which I really don't want him as the backup QB next year, anyways. I don't see enough arm talent to be that.
Yeah, the last time the Giants had a competent half of football was the first half against the Commanders at home. I mean, that was the last time they had a competent half of football, and then I think really the other competent half of football that they've had this year was the second half versus the Cardinals, and that's it. That's the Giants have had 4 quarters of competent football this entire year, and both of them came in 2 different games. So that sucks. So yeah, like, am I expecting 14 points? I don't even know if I'm expecting 14 points in this game with all those explosive plays. Like I'm not, but I guess you want to see something. I would like to see one of the receivers maybe step up, and Slayton, Hodgins, somebody, Wandale. And then even on the defensive side of the ball, is Deonte Banks on the injury report this week?
I think he's going to play. Let me ask you this, because the defense did ball out in that Commanders game, right? Balled out. Now you don't have Leo, don't have Kayvon most likely. If the Giants win, are you going to predict a win? So
No,
I don't want to spoil you.
I'm not.
Okay. Okay. So if the Giants do win, what would be your score prediction for that to happen?
I mean, it would be like 16-13.
Yeah, I think it'd be like 13-10 or like 13-9 or something like that.
Yeah.
You really have to. It'll be interesting to see how the Commanders adjust, and even if the Giants adjust too, because they found success working some of those rub routes and stuff at the end of the game versus the man coverage, and also there was a lot of times where it's like, oh yeah, you got to throw the alert on this, and then they backed out, and it was like, oh, this would have broke open for you.
It would come down to who's going to kick more field goals and who's going to convert on more of them, who's going to have more 40, 50-yard drives where it ends inside the red zone and you're kicking field goals, or it ends at the 30-yard line and you're kicking field goals. That's what I think
Yeah.
it would come down to.
And
But
you saw McLaurin have a couple big plays in that last game. I really think that they're going to lean into like, hey, we don't need to score a ton of points. Throw the ball to McLaurin. If you get man coverage, throw the ball to Terry.
yeah, they finally realized that in the second half of the last Washington game. Like, oh, we should just do this. It's like, yeah, you should just do this. I also think they're going to be very conscious and aware of their offensive line, and I think they're going to throw a lot of screens. I think they're going to try and utilize the quick passing game to try and limit Dexter Lawrence's impact, or even limit Wink Martindale's impact to being super ultra aggressive and having like Micah McFadden and Bobby Okereke, or even one of these secondary players running in there on a blitz. So I think they're going to really, really work the screen game. And also their running backs had like some really big pass plays last week too, out of the backfield receiving. So I think they're going to try and work some different stuff compared to what they did the first time against the Giants.
Cool. All right. So I want to talk about this because we've been seeing from different insiders and reporters like this idea, like, hey, don't be 100% that the Giants are going quarterback in the draft, right? And I kind of wanted to figure out, like, is that real? And so I actually talked with some people. One person came to me and just told me. So I'm like, okay, I'm not like, you're not just telling me something to make yourself seem like is that. And I hate reporting. I hate saying this because it's like, man, it's like your worst fears come true about this organization. Is that John Mara has a mindset, Justin, of, yeah, you picked your quarterback when you paid him $160 million.
Yep.
And there's a question of how much will that interfere with what Shane wants to do, right? Like, there's been no like, oh, no, you are not taking a quarterback or anything. But that's why you're kind of getting it from the people who are like been around for a while and would have some connections to the family part of the Giants organization, is because there is a mindset that comes top down from John Mara that like he loves Daniel Jones, and you just paid him $160 million. You picked your quarterback.
I mean, we also had people 2 weeks ago, like Bob Papa, say that.
But have you seen the way Bob Papa has been talking lately? And Carl Banks has been talking lately? That was the day after that game. Like, you get the Vacchiano article. There is from a top down, like from the top. Like, if it was up to John Mara, they would not be drafting a QB. They would be pointing to the bad circumstances around like the offensive line play, which is 100% true. And do it. And I hate it. Like, I hated hearing that. And I just hope Joe Shane is strong-willed enough to be like, hey, I'm going to do what I think is best. And I'm not going to let your influence on me stop me from making a decision. And the only way I'm not making a decision if you flat out tell me I can't.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're hearing this now, because we know that John Mara is a very stubborn human being. We know that he's a very stubborn individual, taking, how many years, it took him, hey, I think 3 years too long to keep Dave Gettleman around. He kept Eli long. He actually pulled the trigger to bench Eli, and that would have been a better decision for the franchise in the long run. But, putting him back in and being stubborn and keeping him in there, we know that John Mara is a very stubborn individual. And in a way, I'm glad that the stubbornness and these articles and the noise, I'm glad it's coming out in November and it's not coming in March. If the noise is this loud in March or at the beginning of April, I think, how many months? This is 3 months at the start of 2024, and then 2 months to end the year. A month and a half. You're going to have Joe Shane for 4.5 months. That's how long he has to get John Mara on board. That drafting a quarterback, if they deem a quarterback, like we want to put Drake May and Caleb Williams, that's a guy that we want to put our jobs on the line for. Joe Shane, you have 4.5 months to convince John Mara that is the best decision for the franchise. And I think I would have to agree with Joe Shane.
Yeah, I agree. The flip side of that is you have 4.5 months of Daniel Jones in the building, working his ass off, being the perfect person, like in the building type guy that he is, working all his relationships. And Um, Distance makes the heart grow fonder, and that means the further away you get from the actual results of what happened with Daniel Jones on the field, the more you can cling to the years before, right? Which again, like I do think DJ is more of the QB he was in 2021, which again, we've said was a good quarterback in a bad system and a no-win system. And then 2022, which again was a good quarterback, which we said during that years, I don't think he's improved a ton. I think he's just in an offense that works. And then this year we saw his worst film.
But
So
Joe Shane and Brian Dable, they need to convince John Mara. It's like what we tried to do is we tried to take a step up from what we were in 2022. And what they were in 2022 was a basic offense. A basic offense that was good. It was a good offense that was last in the NFL in explosive pass play, and an explosive pass play rate. And what we tried to do this year is to evolve and stay ahead of the curve. Daniel Jones was not able to stay ahead of the curve with us and was not able to do some of the things that we asked him to do. And even a guy like Tyrod Taylor was able to operate it in a similar fashion. And that's not good. Where 2021, the plus and the advantage for Daniel Jones is that the second that Mike Lennon is a competent backup quarterback. He is. And we had that debate and discussion with people all those years ago. 2021, without Daniel Jones, everything fell off. They were already a bad offense that got so much worse. And the negative against Daniel Jones this year is basically the offense was worse off with Daniel Jones over Tyrod Taylor. So it wasn't like that major fall off. You're seeing the major fall off with Tommy DeVito. Shocker, he's not ready to be an NFL QB yet. That is the difference between Daniel Jones going down in 2021 and Daniel Jones going down in 2023. Oh, and also, forget just the level of play stuff. The dude's hurt. The dude gets hurt.
yeah, the injury stuff is like it went from like slightly worrisome, like some small injuries, and then the neck one to like, oh my, yeah, the neck injury, and then you tore your ACL. Like, yeah, and again, this is a guy who's very reliant on his legs of making him a good quarterback too. And
also
you cannot take away Daniel Jones' legs and not put an emphasis on his running,
correct,
and play the way he plays and be happy with that.
So that's it. I mean, Joe Shane, you got 4 months, man. 4 months to get John Mara behind what is best for this organization. And we all know what's best for this organization. We also know that John Mara is a stubborn SOB. So I'm glad that all of this is coming out now. And if it's still coming out in March, and if it's coming out in the beginning of April or even the middle of April, then I'm starting to sweat it a little bit. So we'll see how it all evolves.
Yeah, but with all those articles and Schultz and Papa and Banks, I was like, man, this can't be a coincidence, and it's not. Did you see I got a custom rat pad?
Ah,
You like that? It was only like $15.
show it again. Say something.
Rat pad, rat pad, rat pad.
You should sell those.
Yeah, honestly, we should. It's thick too. Thicker than a snicker. All right, Justin.
Speaking of thick,
Shady Rays. Today's episode is sponsored by Shady Rays. This season of giving Shady Rays. Get the perfect gift for a special someone, yourself, or both. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades and quick swap snow goggles that won't break the bank. The bank, it's not breaking. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair I've worn. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures, which is important to me because I'm an outdoors guy. And if you're into winter sports or summer sports, this isn't for the summer sports. Maybe if you need snow goggles in the summer and you're that type of guy. Their quick swap snow lenses move effortlessly between full sun to low light environments, which is really important for all you snowbirds. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. No questions asked. No preguntas. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. Shady Rays is currently in their biggest sale of the year for Black Friday. Black Friday price. Don't miss out on the best deals for shades, snow goggles, and prescription sunglasses. Go to shadyrays.com and try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Rays. You'll be glad you did. We now welcome on our weatherman, Danny King. Danny, what's the weather looking like for Sunday in Landover, Maryland?
It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice sunny day out there in Landover. It's gonna be 57 degrees. So I think that's football weather. I think we should consider that football weather. But yeah, 57 degrees, sunny skies, wind, nothing crazy with the wind, like 10 miles per hour. Gust up there a little around 20, but it's nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. There might be some sewage pipes that break though. We know that's a thing that normally happens at that stadium. And it's also my favorite time of the year. Giants suck. These media people, they're going to have to deal with that press box again. And I can't wait for the first tweet. It's my favorite time of the year to hear the complaints about the Commanders press box. I love it every time.
That is something to look forward to. Is like, let's come on. Let's see your guys' view. Let's see your view in the.
Let me see that metal bar.
You think?
I wonder if they'll have like better food and stuff though now that it's a new owner.
You think that's Art's first tweet back?
No, he's already had his first tweet back.
Oh, okay. Welcome back, Art.
Welcome back, Art.
All right, what do we got for trivia this week, Danny?
I'm starting to realize that after this season, I'm gonna have to come up with new trivia ideas for these individual rivals because I think we've hit all of them. But this week, since
there's a lot of games to be pulled from.
I know, but like sometimes the stats, I'm boring. I go number one. But this week, 3 Giant quarterbacks have been sacked 7 times. One of them is a gimme, obviously. But can you name the other 2 that have been sacked 7 times? The first one, I'll give it to you. It's Eli Manning. We won't beat around.
And versus the Commanders?
Versus the Commanders. 7 times.
Are you giving us a bad stat? A bad?
I don't think Daniel Jones has been sacked 7 times versus the Commanders.
I will say it's not like so recent. I will say that.
I'll say Carey. And I'll say Phil Simms too.
Justin, do you have any other guesses beside those?
Jake Fromm. Even though I don't think that's right.
It would be fun if it was.
Oh, you just said it wasn't.
Jake Fromm is his first guess.
And Kurt Warner.
Phil Simms was correct. He was sacked 7 times back in 1984. The other one was Craig Morton.
Oh,
Craig Morton. No, everyone loves Craig.
Forget that game.
Yeah, I know. Bobby, how dare you forget it? It was like that game was yesterday for you. But yeah, Craig Morton, 1974. Yeah, sacks. I expect sacks. Actually, do I expect sacks this week? Not really, because they don't have a pass rush currently. But this team's so bad. They surprise me with something new every week.
Before we get to fantasy, can I talk about something really quick?
You could wait till. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, because we have 2 more things to talk about outside of the other things we have to talk about. Bobby, close your ears. Merry Ballsmas from our friends over at Manscaped. Oh, the holidays are approaching, but what if I told you celebrations are starting early this year? That's right, because I'm having a party in my pants. It turns out the perfect
My sister's getting married this weekend, and I'm going to a hotel, and I'm gonna shave my balls.
Bobby's celebrating everything early this year, and who else? Who else wants to bring down your chimney? And then the leaders and below the waist grooming. Keep calm and let your balls jiggle this season with Manscaped's brand new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. Woo! Here we go. Look nice when you're going naughty by going to manscaped.com and use code GIANTS for 20% off and free shipping. Unwrap the gift of smoothness this season with Manscaped. Man, they've stepped everything up, including the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. You thought there was a 3.0. You thought there was a 4.0. Well, there's a Lawnmower 5.0. And they're adding Ultra to the end of it. There's a Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer. That's my favorite. And Manscaped's liquid formulations and 2 free gifts. That's right. Get 20% off and free shipping with code GIANTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code GIANTS. Manscaped, get your jingle balls ready for the holidays. Now let's have a great fantasy draft.
All right, fantasy. Let's give the people an update. Justin in last ass place had 23 points last week. He's 72.5 points behind the leader. Danny had a very good week last week, 46.7 points.
Not too mad. Not too mad.
It's a good week. But he didn't have the highest scoring week of the year, which I did with 71 points. And I have a 20-point lead. I have taken the lead, and not only taken the lead, taken a comfortable lead over Danny King. Justin, you're all but out of this race. Like that week was a death sentence unless you totally turn this around, even though we have almost half the season. But again, I'm the best. I'm number one. Justin, you'll be picking first this week. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'll be taking Terry McLaurin. I feel like, said in the first half of the show, I feel like they're going to make a conscious effort to get him the ball in the first half of the game, whereas the first half of the first Giants game that they played, it was really, really bad offense, and then they started to get Terry the ball in the second half, and good things happened for the Commanders' offense. I think they'll do it for all 4 quarters.
Because this defense stinks, I am just going to go Saquon Barkley with my pick. I'm picking second. To be honest, there's I could pick Brian Robinson, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson right here, but I figured I'd just take the one person on the Giants who I know is going to get touches, and then I'll get the leftovers after Danny makes his pick. So I'm going to go Saquon, the second pick. Danny, who do you got? You got back to back.
Go me. I mean, I guess Brian Robinson's there, so I have to take Brian Robinson. Right, like the kid. Let's not act like I should. Then this is where I'm debated because Jahan Dawson's had two good games, and he had a dud in Seattle where he didn't even put up any points. Logan Thomas hasn't had a bad game. I feel like this is when Bobby's like he's not even on my big board, but I think I'm gonna take Logan Thomas here. I think I am. He had 9 points against the Giants last time, then 16 against Philly, 7, and then 9. So he's still putting up points. Curtis Samuel sometimes looks like he's a more hit and miss type of dude. So I'll just take Logan Thomas to hopefully get me some points and keep me on pace.
That's not a bad pick, but I'm glad you picked that though, because I'm excited for who's gonna be left over for my third. I'm gonna go Curtis Samuel. I think he's been a little more consistent, even though hasn't had the biggest numbers. I am going to go Curtis Samuel with my second pick. This is actually not the worst draft ever for two teams this bad. Justin, you have back-to-back picks.
Darius Slayton. I'm waiting. Just waiting. Waiting for the big play. Waiting for the somewhat-ish big game. And I'll take Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson. I like it. So part of me wants to not take this guy because I think there's a chance Danny might not take him, but I'm not taking that chance. I'm taking Antonio Gibson. He's been used in the receiving game quite a bit. If the Commanders end up taking this lead, they might get some extra carries. So yeah, Antonio Gibson. I feel like that's a pretty safe pick for third round in this. And Danny, you look mad.
Yeah, I was about to take him. I was looking at him. I was like, no way, Bobby takes him here, right?
It's just the other choices are so bad I didn't want to take that chance.
No. You're right. You made the correct call. Wow. No one's taken Wandale yet, right?
Nope.
So I'm gonna take Wandale.
Did Wandale have any catches in the last game?
I thought he did. He did 2 catches, 6 yards.
Ah,
got 2 points. Go me.
2.6 points.
Wow. I mean, 3 catches, 43 yards against the Raiders, 2 catches, 34 yards against Dallas. That combined for 12 points right there. I'll take Daniel Bellinger. Why not? Because I don't know who else would actually get realistic targets.
You want to know a Tommy DeVito stat?
Oh, give me the Tommy DeVito stat. I live for these.
2 of Daniel Bellinger's longest 3 catches in the NFL are from Tommy DeVito.
This is the week. This is going to be a touchdown, I feel like.
Now, is that a Tommy DeVito stat, or is that a Daniel Bellinger's a better receiver stat than last year, but he's been behind Darren Waller? That is the question.
Ooh.
I'm struggling with this pick. I am going to go, though.
there's a pick screaming at me.
Isaiah Hodgins.
Oh, that wasn't it.
Starting receiver. Jalen Hyatt's going to be out. He had a touchdown versus the Commanders last year. Who are we? Isaiah Hodgins. Justin, what's the last pick of the draft?
I have one more pick left, and this is really tough.
You remember last week? You're like, oh, I'm not taking Lawrence Cager. I'm going to take all the other tight ends. And guess who scored a touchdown?
Now Lawrence Cager's screaming at. He's sitting there screaming at me, saying, "Take me." There's also our DUI friend Chris Rodriguez, and there's also De'Ami Brown, who caught his first touchdown of his career last week, I believe.
No, he's had two. He had a 2-touchdown game last year.
Never mind, and he got his first touchdown maybe of the year.
Yeah, I kind of thought the announcer said the same thing. Then he must have said the year
of the year. F it, Lawrence Cager. Go Giants.
You should have took him last week. You wouldn't be such a dim light at the end of there would be some light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh.
All right. It is time for Giant Factors, where we pick our X Factor for the game. Justin. All right, and to recap, Justin, who's in last, Terry McLaurin, Slayton, Dotson, and Cager. Myself in first, Saquon, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Isaiah Hodges, and then Danny has Brian Robinson, Logan Thomas, Wandale. Oh my gosh, I wrote down Wandale Gibson, Wandale Robinson, and Daniel Bellinger. Justin, who's your Giant Factor for Week 11?
We're at the point of the year where we're looking for bright spots, right? We're at the point of the year where we're looking for what guys can we build around in the future. And my Giant Factor for this game will be John Michael Schmitz. I actually want to take time next week because we got a mailbag question about John Michael Schmitz, and I'm like, I feel like I haven't really tuned in as much to John Michael Schmitz as I should be. Well, going up against Ron Payne, Jonathan Allen, two guys that are good, but are having maybe a little bit disappointing years, but still two guys that, hey, it's still one of the best interior defensive lineman tandems in the National Football League. I want to see John Michael Schmitz have a good game against them. I want to see the Giants offense be able to run the ball pretty well, especially, hey, if they're going up the middle and it's John Michael Schmitz has got to work his way up to the secondary level to these bad Commanders linebackers. I want to see John Michael Schmitz do it, and I want to see him hold up at pass protection with some good strength and upper body strength. So, John Michael Schmitz, you are my Giant Factor.
I just did this to this cup while you were doing your Giant Factor.
Lovely.
Now it's a mechanism.
This is what the season has done to us.
Get on my screen. Speak sicko mode. There we go. All right. My Giant Factor is Isaiah Hodgins. Just picked him in the damn fantasy draft. He's going to be getting full-time reps for the first time since week 2 or 3 or whatever, with Hyatt most likely out. So I'm going on Isaiah Hodgins. You got a touchdown. Was his first NFL touchdown against the Commanders? I think it was. He is tied for second in on the team in receiving touchdowns. Who is he tied with on the team for second in receiving touchdowns with Justin?
Sterling Shepard.
Sterling Shepard. Who else?
Receiving. Jalen Hyatt doesn't have any. Darren Waller has how many? I want to say Darren Waller.
Who else?
Jeez. The Paris Campbell doesn't have any garbage ones. Wandale Robinson.
Who else?
Jesus. Should I just everybody? Darius Slayton doesn't have any this year.
Oh, we just talked about him.
It's Cager.
Lawrence Cager.
Don't say who else.
No, that's it.
Okay, good.
Only 7 touchdowns for the Giants receiving. Saquon's in first with 2. All right, Danny, who is your Giant Factor for Week 11?
Go the route Justin did. We know we can hopefully build around. I'm just going to go Deontay Banks because last time he went up against Terry McLaurin, targeted 6 times, gave up 4 catches for 70 yards. Obviously, he's been struggling a little bit these past few weeks. I just want to have reason to hope. We already go into the game knowing we're about to get our teeth kicked in. So I just want reason to see someone be like, hey, that's a future piece right there. Deontay Banks not only do that for this game, be a Giant Factor, be a Giant Factor the rest of the season, quite frankly, but have fun with Terry McLaurin. Lock him down this week. Maybe get another interception. You had the interception against the Commanders last time. Maybe let's do it again. Thoughts? I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. That's just me, though. Deontay Banks, you're my Giant Factor. Keep the game low scoring. Not saying win, but keep it low scoring.
Thoughts?
Yeah, don't be bad like you have been the last 4 weeks. Be good.
That's my favorite tweet. Thoughts?
Did
I
the Giants trade down in the draft? Thoughts?
Danny, I emailed you something.
Ah, I was gonna ask that somehow.
I emailed you something.
There we go.
Should we do a tweet that's like interaction baiting right now, and then people that listen to the pod can be like, "Oh yeah, I just remember seeing that tweet."
I'll know it. Yeah. What should we do?
Um, Something draft related.
Should the Giants trade away their first round pick to get Bill Belichick? Thoughts?
Should the Giants draft?
That's
I kind of want to do that.
actually, I'm gonna do a poll. What would you trade for Bill Belichick?
That's too wild. That's too wild for people to have to wait like 24 hours to know that that's a joke.
Maybe I'll really spell it wrong too.
Belichick is a hard Belichick. It's like Belichick. It's a very hard last name to spell.
Well, we'll have to learn it because she'll be our coach next year.
And GM. Any team that does that, I'm sorry, you're off your rocker.
No way a team trades for him. No way.
I think he should be a head coach. It's that he wants to be a GM is crazy.
I can't believe that's ugh. Oh man.
He's gonna go to LA. He's gonna go to the Chargers.
By the way, Thomas McGahee said the Giants are close to breaking one on kickoffs. So.
Oh yeah.
Shut the fuck up. No, he didn't.
I'm so serious. I'm so serious.
I just tweeted it out.
It was Paul DeCito. It's T-Mac. Where was it? Getting better on kickoff returns. Close to breaking one. Campbell done well with strength and speed on the returns.
Oh my god.
Breaking one.
We got 2 replies so far.
And that's it.
Just Giants, two people saying nothing.
The Giants down 28-3 against the Los Angeles Rams. Return a kickoff for a touchdown to make it 28-10. We'll be right back.
That T-Mac press conference is going to be fire that next day.
38 votes. They are all for the 4th or a 7th.
Okay.
And we got a couple. We got a couple for first now.
Danny, we're talking about spread picks next. Who are they brought to us by?
Yeah.
Oh, our spread picks. Well, I mean, have you guys realized we're like really deep into the NFL season? Like it's almost over for us Giants fans. Obviously, we're lucky, but we still got to make every second count. And that's with DraftKings Sportsbook. You can make the most out of every game day. Bet on your favorite teams for a shot at winning big bucks. New customers can score 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting $5 on any matchups. So what you need to do is get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app now and use promo code WORLD. New customers can score 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on the NFL. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code WORLD, WORLD. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY the 467-369. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available. For problem gambling, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details as state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. You'll be glad you did. The West Virginia threw me for a loop there for a second.
Should I change it to where only no one can reply?
It's up to you.
We got 17 replies.
What's everyone saying?
Only followers can reply. And you have to follow the account to say that it's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think you can do it. It's only accounts you follow.
Oh.
I'll just leave it. How about that?
People think we're so serious. I love it.
Anyways, I feel like you kind of have to know that we're screwing around a little. Like, no, have some respect for us that we didn't screwing around. All right, spread picks. Listeners, they got back over 500. They went 4-2 in last week. They are 38-37. Danny's in second. He went 3-3. He's 33-42. I've went 500 for the second straight week, so not losing any ground. I'm 31 and 44. Justin, who went 1 and 5, is also 31 and 44. So Thursday night football, we got a good one. Bengals at Ravens -3.5. I can't even watch this game. The listeners, represented by David Ryan, are going Bengals +3.5. I am agreeing with him. Bengals +3.5. This is a half-point spread too, so we can't push like we did last Thursday. Justin, are you agreeing with me, or are we going to have different records on Sunday?
What did you go with?
Bengals.
Well, guess what? I'm going to be talking about this game with Chris Rose on Football Today on the JM Football Channel tomorrow. And I'm going to go Ravens.
You should have said I'm doing that today because that's when it comes out.
I'm doing it today. It's Football Today, and it will be on Friday. Chris Rose, JM Football. Link is in the description. Subscribe.
All right, so we're planning stupid stuff. Can we plan like one really dumb thing you say on there?
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it.
What do you think, Danny? Who are you picking this week, Danny? Well, I think.
I'm going Ravens because Joe Burrow had some sort of like sleeve on his hand that the Bengals posted on social media, and then I got immediately taken down. So I'm nervous. So I'll be taking the Ravens.
Conspiracy?
Maybe, you know what? Find some like really, what's like the most irrelevant team in the NFL right now? Not the Giants. Besides the Giants, not that they're not the most irrelevant team.
I read a funny tweet from Ryan Dunleavy.
Yeah.
No video. Giants defense coordinator Wink Martindale literally shivered when asked about giving up 640 yards last week.
I don't think he literally shivered. I think he might have done a joke shiver, but he didn't literally shiver. Dude, Ben Volen of the Patriots thing, he's on the Patriots beat for like the Globe. He had a tweet. It was like Belichick was asked about something. And he was asked about like who was going to be the starting quarterback, whatever, on Sunday. And he's like, and he froze up for a minute. Could it have been him just stumbling his words for a second? Or was he wondering if his key card wouldn't work the next day? It's like, my God, reporters, stop with this stuff.
You could say Zach Wilson's playing probably the best quarterback of any in the AFC East.
No, but I want him to say something that's not obviously stupid, but like Rose would be like, why are you talking about this?
I think
like talk about like just find out who the backup nickel corner is on the Titans, Justin, and be like, I really think that the Titans should start him because of his run defense.
Who was that Titans corner that we liked from the Senior Bowl?
Roger McCreary, he starts.
Oh, okay, well, okay, then I'll talk about. I may fit in Roger McCreary somewhere.
Okay, I like that. Steelers at Browns -1. Now, the Browns are like the team I've been in on. Like, I think this defense is Super Bowl worthy, but without Watson, who again wasn't playing very well, like they're gonna have Dorian Thompson Robinson, I think his name is. They're gonna be so bad on offense that I'm going to Steelers on this one, right? And the Steelers have you seen the Steelers stat of they haven't outgained any team, but yet they still have like a 6-3 record?
Yep.
Justin, who do you got?
Browns.
Danny.
Steelers.
The listeners are going Browns. Cardinals at Texans -5. What do you got on this one, Danny?
Oh, I mean, Kyler's back. It looked fun last week, but I mean, the Texans right now are just the team you got to ride the hot hand with. So I'm going to be taking the Houston Texans.
Listeners agree. Justin, do you agree?
Cardinals cover, Texans win.
I agree with you, Justin. I actually do. I think the Texans win by 3 points. So I'm going with you, and maybe win. That'd be kind of cool. So we could just stop worrying about them. The Titans, Roger McCreary, who should be benched for the backup nickel corner, at Jags -7. Justin, I know you're kind of in on the Jags, and they got their ass kicked. Who are you going?
Yeah, Jags -7.
I agree. I think the Jags have a bounce back game after the 49ers smacked them. They did. They didn't beat them by 7 in that last game last year, but they did beat them by like 14 with Tannehill in last year. And maybe Levis hype got a little overhyped. The listeners agree. Danny, do you agree?
Yes, I'll also be taking the Jaguars. One bad game.
Jets at Bills -7. The Jets won this game week 1. Bills just fired their offensive coordinator. And that's why I'm going Bills -7. I think they are going to be they will not make a single mistake in this game. Josh Allen's going to play perfect. And if he just played like halfway not dumb in week 1, they win that game. So I'm going Bills -7. And the Jets did a players only meeting. It's like players only meeting is like when there's issues in the locker room, not just because you flat out suck. That's not going to help you at all. Justin, who do you got?
I think the Jets cover because this is just what the Jets do. They'll lose against like bad teams, and then these really good teams they'll play well against, and they'll cover.
I agree. If the Bills didn't fire Ken Dorsey, I would agree. But they did fire Ken Dorsey, so interim offensive coordinator game. Danny, who do you got?
Could argue loser of this game might have their playoff hopes fully get eliminated in a way.
I don't think the Bills playoff hopes will be eliminated.
Kind of what it feels like to me. Jets, yeah, Jets argue more, yeah, but also just feels like it away. I'm taking. Who am I taking? I forgot who I was about to take. Oh, I'm taking the Jets. I think the Jets can cover this, but I don't think they'll win.
All right, Bills. The listeners are going Bills. Seahawks at Rams +1. Seahawks have not looked super good as of late, but I do think they end up winning this game. I'm going Seahawks -1. Danny?
It took a last-second miracle to beat the Commanders. But yeah. I'm going to take the Seahawks for a bounce-back game here.
Listeners agreed. Justin, is it going to be a clean sweep?
Yeah, Seahawks.
All right, and I was struggling to find an 8th game of the week. We got Vikings at Broncos -2.5. Are we in on Dobbs? Myself and the listeners are. Are you guys in on Dobbs?
This is tough. Danny, go.
I am in on Dobbs. Obviously, he's got to come back down to earth. But I mean, the Commanders should have won that. Not the Commanders. The Broncos should have won that game. They literally missed a field goal, but the Buffalo can't count. But they could count our penalty yards. I remember that when I was there. But yeah, I'll take it the Vikings. Take it the Vikings.
Justin?
This is tough. I think the Vikings defense, they got to get Russell Wilson to the ground. That's the key because I think they could get back there. I think, Flores is going to have something for him, but you got to get Russell Wilson to the ground. I think that's going to be the key thing here. 2.5. Broncos favored by 2.5. Give me the Broncos. I think this will be the first letdown game from the Vikings, even though give me the Broncos.
I kind of wanted to take the Broncos, but I didn't. Monday Night Football. We got ourselves a game. Super Bowl rematch. Eagles at Chiefs -3. Danny, what do you got in this one?
Man. Eagles obviously looking good. Chiefs. I mean, I'm gonna have to ride with the team that won the Super Bowl last year. I'm gonna take the Chiefs. That -3 spread is kind of making me want to sway more towards the Eagles. But I don't know. I just think this is a game that the Chiefs will win by more than 3 points. I think they'll just pull away right at the end.
Listeners agree. Justin, how about you?
I think the Chiefs defense and Steve Spags has got these guys playing well. So give me the Chiefs.
He does have them playing well. But the Eagles are more talented. I'll be interested to see if they try and put Bradbury on Kelsey a little bit. Shout out that 2021 Giants-Chiefs game. They have no receiver talent. And the Eagles almost won that damn thing, right? They almost won the damn thing last year. So I'm going to go Eagles +3. I got faith in the Eagles this week, unfortunately. All right. Danny, what is your score prediction for Giants at Commanders?
Oh, we suck. Giants lose 30-10.
30? We dominated this offense in the last game. 30.
Now, I scoffed at Danny King the last time he predicted 30 points, so I'm not doing that again because I said I would jump out of a building if the team did that, and they did.
You want to make that same bet, Bobby?
No.
Yeah, I'll throw you out of a building if they score 30 points.
That would be great content right there.
Remember, we were supposed to kill you at Mr. Purple.
You didn't show up. You were too scared.
I mean, I will be at the tailgate, so you could get back there.
And they had one of my favorite messages we ever got was we were on the Fan that day, and they're like, "Please do not threaten to kill Danny King on the radio."
Yeah, please don't do this. I think the Giants will lose by a score of 19-9. Gross score.
3 times in the Commanders' opposing territory. Any of those off turnovers?
One of them, and we only kick a field goal.
What if we go for all right? I'm trying to map out this game. Dude, we don't lose to the Commanders. When's the last time the Giants lost to the Commanders?
Vietnam.
Trivia. Huh?
Vietnam.
It was the Joe Judge, Jake Fromm QB sneak game. That's basically Vietnam equivalent for Giants fans.
Oh my God.
It feels like we're going back there. But we're going to win. We're going to win 77-0.
That is a great time.
That was such even the record is like that no chance.
That is unbelievable. Bobby just got kicked out of the I didn't do anything. I think his internet just cut out. That is unbelievable. Like I think the universe just tried to stop Bobby Skinner from saying 77-0. And I'm going to let him back in the meeting. This is unbelievable.
That would have been.
I think the universe just tried to stop you from saying Giants 77, Commanders 0.
Giants 77, Commanders 0, and let's go Pig Blue.